The first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Forest County. And in the Pine Belt city of Hattiesburg, Mayor Toby Barker has taken strict measures, including a face covering requirement and faced criticism for it. He recently spoke with our Jesse Finver about the measures taken. And the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Forest County. And in the Pine Belt city of Hattiesburg, Mayor Toby Barker has taken strict measures, including a face covering requirement and faced criticism for it. He recently spoke with our Jesse Finver about the measures taken and how the hub city is reopening its economy.
This afternoon, I will be signing an executive order 2020-7, that will allow restaurants to open up outdoor dining to 50% of their total capacity.
What was the reasoning behind this?
Look, in everything that we've done to not only fight this disease, but also to try and reopen, we try to go at it from a perspective of prioritizing public health while giving the private sector space to operate creatively. And our restaurants and so many other businesses have taken really big hits, and that's not lost on me. In Hattiesburg, these are not just eateries, they are institutions. People that are our friends, people that put their heart and soul and talent into what they do. And so we wanted to try and give them space to start operating. And so we've have been working with them since this began, and we decided this was a good first step. Of course, in all of our other openings of businesses, we do have required masks. That's a little bit harder to do when you're at a restaurant, and so this will be the first one that a mask isn't required of the customer. Of course, it will be required of the employee, but we felt this was a measured first step that would allow our restaurants to get back open.
How do you plan on enforcing these restaurants to maintain the capacity? Is there going to be people checking to see, like, are you guys going to be shutting down restaurants if there's too many people there? How exactly is that going to work?
Well, we have a fire marshal and fire department that have been very good about staying on all of these orders as they've changed. And we make visits to businesses proactively. We talk with owners ahead of time to let them know what the expectation is and to ask for their help. A lot of this is complaint driven. So if people do let us know there's a restaurant that's not complying with the social distancing requirements or the sanitation requirements, then we will obviously pay a visit. We will work with that owner to try and correct the matter. However, we are intent to making sure these things are enforced. And quite frankly, restaurants want to see them enforced fairly because they want to get to in-store and indoor dining as well. And so it's in everyone's best interest that everyone play by the rules, that we all do the right thing. And I believe our restaurants are up to that task.
Is this safe?
We know that COVID-19 will be with us until there is a vaccine or a reliable therapeutic. We know the threat of COVID-19 to our elderly and to those with underlying health conditions will be there until we have a vaccine or a credible therapeutic. We also know that we cannot keep our economy shut down until that time happens next year sometime, hopefully. And so the key measure for us is how do we prioritize public health and reduce risk of community transmission as much as possible, while also giving the private sector the space to operate creatively. And we believe this is the correct and measured first step for our city.
What would come next? If this is successful, so what would come next?
Indoor dining at 50% capacity. I mean, that's the goal everyone wants to get to. And then, of course, Governor Reeves may choose to open things up more at the state level. I think it's important that everyone move in a measured fashion. We take a very hard look at our local data every day. And so, understanding that this virus can sometimes take up to 14 days to incubate and show signs if you're even going to be symptomatic. What you do today will not be seen, the effects of which may not be seen for a week or 2 or 3 weeks from now. And so you really have to keep a careful eye on what your data is telling you. We had a peak last week of our 5-day average. We did see that start to come down. We've had 5 days in a row where that started to fall. And so we believe that we're in a good place to take this next step. We'll be discussing other retail possibilities as well. Of course, Hattiesburg has been very responsive as we phased in the wearing of masks throughout commerce. Again, restaurants it's a little bit harder to do that. And so, we're going to see how this goes. But I do believe that everyone is intent on working together and following the rules because they want to see indoor dining come as well.
Are you prepared to roll this back if it doesn't work?
We're going to watch our local data and make decisions based on that. We have always put the health of Hattiesburgers First, because we want to make sure that we're protecting the vulnerable and that we're preventing the overrun of our healthcare system. And so we won't be overly reactive, but we will be very mindful of what our local data is telling us.
And what sort of feedback have you gotten from the community so far?
Well, I think everyone's in a different spot. I mean, there are a lot of folks who are still scared to come out, who fear for their own health, the health of their families, and that's understandable. I think there are those who want everything to go back to normal and they want things to open up right now, and the fact that the reality is that it won't right away, and that affects everybody in a different way. And as mayor, I've had to learn that you have to give people space to express their frustration, and I think it's important that we let our people do that while also maintaining a level head and making data-driven decisions, and that's what we're going to keep trying to do.